Al, it is such a pretty morning, isn't it?
Perfect fall morning here.
We have a breaking news story to tell you about. Apparently, a plane has just crashed into the World Trade Center here in New York City.
Two separate aircraft have struck the two towers of the World Trade Center.
There's been a declaration of war by terrorists on the United States.
That was the last we saw of the World Trade Center.
The outlook is very, very grim.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack.
I was on my hands and knees. I could hear the tower picking up momentum, and I'm braced for it, and I'm ready to die. I'm Clarence Singleton, and I'm a 9/11 survivor. It's not easy being a firefighter. It's some grueling, tough work. I retired from the New York City Fire Department August 30th of 2000. On the morning of September 11, 2001, I heard that a plane struck the tower. I didn't think anything of it until I heard a second announcement.
If there were many people in the building.
Oh, another one just hit. Something else just hit. A very large plane just flew directly over my building, and there's been another collision. Can you see it? I can see it on this shot.
I donned a fire department t-shirt, a pair of boots to go over to the scene. One of my sons called and he was begging me, "Daddy, don't go, you're retired." But I still had this pull. I just felt compelled to go. When I got to the scene, it was like a ghost town. The ground was covered with debris. There was ladies' purses, shoes, clothing, you name it. It was on the ground, and there was this thick layer of dust. As I was going into the area, I met the police commissioner, the fire commissioner, their little entourage. They were covered in dust, and they were leaving the scene. My inner voice told me, "Clarence, stay here and work with these guys." I stayed working with them. We were extinguishing fires around the perimeter of the building.
Well, this is the worst I've ever seen.
We were working right here. It doesn't seem as if the tower was that far away on September 11, I guess because it was so tall. We heard this loud bang like something let go, and we didn't look up. We stared at each other. We heard it again. Bang, really loud bang.
The other tower of the World Trade Center has just collapsed. You are looking at live pictures of the second twin tower at the World Trade Center collapsing.
We bolted, we ran, moving so fast. I was on the ground. I was skidding along because I knew I was in a collapse zone. I was on my hands and knees, and I could hear the tower picking up momentum as I get closer to the ground. And I'm braced for it, and I'm ready to die, and it was peaceful. I saw 3 or 4 EMS workers heading my way, covered with dust, and they put me in the ambulance, and I was feeling stupid, really, because I came to help, and now it took people out of service to help me. I was transported to St. Vincent's Hospital in Lower Manhattan. After the doctor snapped my arm back into place, left the hospital, and I went back down to the site.
At Ground Zero today, firefighters on the front line still spraying the smoldering wreckage more than a day after the explosion.
I used to ask my friends if I was dead or alive because I wasn't really sure. All of them told me, said, "Clarence, I assure you that you are alive." From my firehouse, we lost 5 firefighters, all great guys. I mean, these guys would do anything for you. To rescue you, they would do anything to come get you. Why them? Why did they make the supreme sacrifice and not me? After September 11, I was in bed. I'm injured, and I'm in physical and emotional pain. I couldn't hold conversations with people. My memory was terrible from the trauma. I wasn't able to prepare meals for myself. Hardly was able to do anything for myself. It was just a rough time in my life. And I would take the train across the bridge, and I just couldn't look in the area where the towers were because I could see my friends and co-workers, I could envision them falling through the rubble. I guess I kind of shield myself from things that happen at the World Trade Center, which doesn't really work. I see tall buildings on TV, my mind goes back to the World Trade Center. If I'm driving in my car and see dust, you know, my mind goes back to the World Trade Center. Every time I look at my clock, I see 9/11. I just seem to look at it at that particular moment. Still doesn't get any easier, but I'm aware of what's going on with me so I can more or less control it.
It's always emotional because it brings back a lot of memories from friends that I've lost and a very tragic moment in our history. I've been feeling this way for the past, almost 17 years, but I just learned to live with it, you know? But it's very emotional for me. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to hold back the tears, you know.
After the collapse, I stayed in New York for about 5 years, but it was really difficult living here. So I relocated to Virginia for a more peaceful lifestyle, and I found it. Jean and I, we have a great relationship. She supports me totally. We were married on the 11th anniversary of the collapse at 11 in the morning on September 11, and her birthday is September 11. I put something in place of something tragic, and so she is a godsend. When people stop remembering us, that's when we truly perish. And I think as long as we keep the memories in the forefront, it also keeps the person alive. I don't live in fear. Whatever I have to do, I do it. I'm not going to let terrorists or anybody else determine how I'm going to live my life. If I'm afraid to do certain things, then they win. And in my case, no, you're not going to win. I didn't give up. Even when there was a very little light at the end of the tunnel, don't give up.
Hello Today fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.